The contenders were fired up and ready for the opening round of Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Racing in Florida. Everyone strutted their stuff and showed what they had, but in the end it was the number 5 Suzuki rider of Charlie Mullins scoring a dominant wire-to-wire win. Can he do it again?
Playing in the dirt, face full of mud, sacrificing flesh and blood. Playing in the dirt, digging in the ground. All I'm asking you, where you gonna be when it all goes down, 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 down?
Well, hello everyone and welcome once again to Racer TV. I'm your host Jason Wygant, covering the 2009 Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series. That's America's largest off-road racing series for motorcycles and ATVs. Today, we're back to covering the motorcycles. It's round 2 of the tour, the Maxxis General GNCC in Washington, Georgia. Now, the last time we raced with these guys, FMF Makita Suzuki's Charlie Mullins laid waste to the field. He dominated, leading every single lap at our opener in Florida. A little relief for the guys, though. We're leaving Florida's terrain, sand, behind and replacing it with that trademark red Georgia clay today. Will that change the results? Everybody but Charlie Mullins sure hopes so. So before we go racing, let's talk to some of our top contenders about racing here in Georgia.
This is Nate Canny. We're here in Georgia for GNCC round 2. We made it out of Florida with no injuries, no damage, and we're back to a more typical terrain of a GNCC race. And last year I was second here, so I like this terrain, I like this track, and looking forward to having another good race and maybe improving on the points from last Tuesday.
This is the first race back in the dirt like the rest of the GNCC series, so it'll be interesting to see how we all stack up again today. But I'm looking to get another podium today and be hopefully up on the top step.
Yeah, Florida, it was a good race. I did exactly what I wanted to do. I got the whole shot and pretty much rode my own race, and we're here in Georgia a few days later. I feel ready to go, rehydrated, no blisters, which is a plus. But I won here last year, and I'm just going to stick to what I've been doing, just kind of ride my own race and try and get a good start and hopefully win.
Well, as we mentioned when this series began, the championship is wide open because our 2007 and 2008 champion David Knight has returned to Europe and won't be pursuing this championship. But Mullins has some great history in the past at this race. He beat David Knight here last year, so obviously he's just as comfortable on red Georgia clay as he is on Florida sand. So can anyone upset the hot rod? Let's get down to the starting line and find out.
Lots of fans, lots of people here for this Maxxis General GNCC. Generally, one of the largest events on the tour. We're expecting over 1,500 riders to compete throughout the weekend. And here are some of the main contenders. The Australians, Josh Strang, Glenn Carney. There's Charlie Mullins and Nate Canny. They are the top Americans in this tour. Former series champ Shane Watts is going to race a few rounds with us this year. See how the number 9 does today. We're ready to go racing here in the clay of Georgia. Completely different conditions from what we raced on just a few days ago in Florida. Bunch of KTMs battling for that MotorcycleUSA.com hole shot award, but it's the Kawasaki around the outside. Paul Whibley, a rare hole shot, and his teammate goes down. Jimmy Jarrett was second, loses the front end. Whibley battling with those KTMs of Nate Canny, and now you also see Glenn Carney and the Husqvarna getting in there, but Whibley will lead them through as they head into the woods for the first time. They're the KTMs of Caselli and Canny, now bumped to 3rd and 4th. Justin Williamson in 5th, and Barry Hawk. And where is Jarrett, who went down early? Meanwhile, his teammate Whibley, who is known for being strong late in the races but struggling off the start today, has it wired. And now Josh Strang on the yellow Suzuki moving up as well. There's Watts, Williamson, and there's Mullins, our first round winner on the yellow machine. Back to the starting line we go. Row 2, the XC2 Pro Lights class. Corey Buttrick on the inside. No, that outside line's going to work. Caleb Russell, I thought he would steal it away, but it's Andrew Matuzik, a privateer in a Kawasaki, who grabs $100 from Kinetic, grabbing the whole shot. And look at Buttrick and Russell going after him. Matuzik, also not known for good starts, but he's got one today, and the Georgia native in his home state leads Buttrick and Russell through. Russell in the number 2 spot on the 16, Buttrick on the 12, and then it's the 15 of Scott Watkins on the Geico Kawasaki. And these XC2 riders, they have adjusted time on their side. They start 1 minute back, but they will adjust the clocks overall to give them that 1 minute back. So we'll see which strategy works better. Josh Strang now taking the lead from Whibley. Then you get a pack of KTMs, then Mullins, And then Carney, who was riding with a broken leg. Yes, that's right, a broken leg, but a good start today. He's got to have the adrenaline flowing. Let's see how long he can hang on. So Strang leading Whibley, then Canny, Watts, Mullins, Caselli, and then Carney, and that's it. They have broken away from the rest of the pack. And another mistake here by Jarrett. Almost went over the falls, and he's still trying to back that Geico Kawasaki up, so he loses a few more spots. And he had put on one heck of a charge. He had passed about 10 riders to get to that position. Meanwhile, easy cruise for Josh Strang out front. Not quite able to get over that tabletop. These riders are not allowed to practice or pre-run these tracks, so they're seeing these motocross jumps here at Ionia Pass Motocross for the very first time. So off the motocross track and into the woods, and it's very difficult to adjust. For example, these are wide open sections of the track. They have to go back into the tight stuff. Matuszek still leading Russell. And that's a rider from the XC1 class. That's Takeshi Koikita, the Japanese rider on the BMW. They have already caught and passed him from row 2. And they have put Koikita between themselves and Buttrick. So right now, 2 riders out front in XC2. Matuszek and Russell back out front in XC1. Strang and Whibley. Strang, the Australian, Whibley, the New Zealander. And look for Mullins. He has already gotten around those KTMs, and he's into the number 3 spot. And Jarrett won't give up. He has already caught this group for the second time. And it's all about conserving energy early in these races. You can see how little effort Strang has had to put out here, just cruising in the number 1 spot. Jarrett, he has already had a lot happen to him in this race, and we'll see how much energy he spent early and what that means coming down to the wire 3 hours in this event. But right now, Josh Strang on cruise control out front. We're just getting started. Stay tuned to Racer TV. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, and by Yamaha. Lap 2 here, this Maxxis General GNCC. Jason Wygant giving the call, and we've got a freight train through the forest. Charlie Mullins coming through in 3rd. Nate Canny in the hunt. Jimmy Jarrett and Shane Watts. Now we believe we have lost Glenn Carney from this battle. Here's the battle behind. Look at this. Caleb Russell and Andrew Matuszek moving forward and catching some of these XC1 riders overall. Russell now taking the lead in XC2. We go back to our leaders. And you've got to hook on with this group. It's so much easier to ride this pace when you're following the riders in front of you. When you're all alone, well, this seems like a whole lot faster than it really is. Strang dealing with the pressure. He leads Whibley, then Mullins, Nathan Canny, Jimmy Jarrett, and Shane Watts. Watts and Jarrett, quite a mystery between the two of those. Watts, who is not racing full-time any longer, actually teaches a lot of riding schools. As for Jarrett, who has now gotten around Watts, he had a couple of mistakes on lap 1, so he is really pushing the pace. And just like that, we've got a new leader, Charlie Mullins, into the number 1 spot. That's why they call him the Hot Rod. He is on fire right now. He won the opener in Florida, and these guys do not want to let him get away like he did in that one. Ned Canny coming by. Canny is struggling with back troubles. You've got to wonder if that'll affect him like it did in Florida. Here comes Barry Hawk. He was down early in this one. He's trying to make up ground. Caleb Russell, your leader in XC2. And he's got Matuszek right behind him, so it'll be a long day in the saddle for those two. We'll be back to the action in a moment, but let's check out our Rocky Mountain ATV MC Spotlight. Today, looking at bike maintenance. Check out the Tusk valve spring compressor. Valve maintenance on racing 4-strokes is critical. This valve spring compressor makes valve inspection and replacement easy and affordable. Includes heavy-duty steel construction, carried in a heavy-duty plastic carrying case. Comes with 19, 23, and 25 millimeter collars that feature large windows for easy access to valve keepers, and the adjustable design works on a wide variety of machines. It retails for $34.99. The Tusk crankcase splitter and separator is a must for disassembling 2 and 4-stroke crankcases. Makes crankcase disassembly easy by safely pushing the crank assembly out of the crank halves. Adjustable arms allow it to be used in a variety of bolt patterns, and it retails for $59.99. And we'll look at the Tusk crank puller and installer, a must for assembling split crankcases. Safely and easily pulls the crank assembly into the crankcase. Made of heavy-duty steel, retails for $59.99. Having the right tools for any job is a critical aspect of doing the job right. It is equally critical to know what you're doing. So Rocky Mountain has a variety of instructional videos on their website that not only show you how to do the job right, but how to use the right tools. Rocky Mountain also carries an extensive line of in-depth service manuals for most models. Rocky Mountain ATV MC is the leading online seller of ATV and motorcycle tires, accessories, and apparel with an industry-leading website, free shipping on orders over $99 in the continental U.S., and a huge inventory of in-stock items. You're sure to get the products you need at the prices you want, shipped quickly to your door. Visit their website at RockyMountainATVMC.com or call 1-800-272-6329 to request a free catalog. Racing here in Georgia, Charlie Mullins trying to edge away from the field just like he did a few weeks ago, and he's doing it. That's why they call him Check Out Charlie. He's got his teammate Strang, who was leading earlier behind him. And Whibley back to third. Shane Watts still in the hunt. And Jimmy Jarrett as well. So no troubles with fatigue for Watts or Jarrett yet. Through the FMF Makita Suzuki pit, they like what they see. They're 1 and 2. And here's Russell leading the way in XC2, shaking out some arm pump, but he's got a nice lead now over Matuzik. And look at this, Strang has just gotten Mullins back. So Check Out Charlie tried to check out, did not work out for him. And Watts is still on the run. Same thing with Jarrett, they want to keep that top three in sight. And a little distance back now to Canny, who is with that group. But he is struggling with some injuries, and you've got to wonder if the pain is starting to set in. You see the different lines the riders have through the trees. A lot different racetrack than what they faced just a few days ago in Florida. These deep ruts, this soft Georgia clay. And Strang handling it best of anyone right now with Whibley. And Watts has now gotten around Mullins as well. And you hear the panic rev. Jarrett tells the lap traffic, I got to get through and stay with these guys. Russell on a roll right now in XC2. And he has pulled a good-sized distance over Matuzik. And Mullins, you've got to wonder here, he's losing time pretty quickly. And now he's got Jarrett right on his rear wheel as his teammate Strang, for the second time today, is leading Paul Whibley around. But it's getting serious. We're about the halfway mark. One of these guys going to put the hammer down. Who's going to make the move first? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, and by Yamaha. It's a game of strategy, and this rider has maybe played it best. Jimmy Jarrett, charging all day long, has decided I want to go to the front, and he's gotten around the Suzuki boys and his teammate Paul Whibley. And Shane Watts still in the hunt in the number 5 spot. Then we go back a little bit to Canny on his factory Shock Dr. KTM. And look at the lap traffic Caleb Russell has to deal with, and it takes him down. So Russell, who had things going his way in XC2, got to be thankful he has electric start as he elbows his way back onto this racetrack. And that's what all these guys are going to have to deal with. The lap traffic now into the pits. Mullins comes through. I thought Mullins was having trouble, but he has rebounded to move back to the front, but he has just stalled the motorcycle. You hear the engine is now off. And there goes Jimmy Jarrett in and out of the pits. He will control the lead. They've got to get that bike in neutral so Mullins can start it, and he is losing time quickly. Strang is right behind him, so the Kawasaki's have made the move in the pits. Strang struggling back here. They are in no rush whatsoever. So the Kawasaki riders are out 1-2. Then it's the Suzuki riders, and Russell goes through the pits, still leading in XC2 despite that crash. Now Whibley has taken the lead from his teammate Strang. Here comes Mullins, and Whibley back and forth. So these two guys are going to try to hook on. It's kind of like bicycle racing. They will use each other to pull themselves forward and try to get to those Kawasaki's. But I don't know if anyone's going to go after Whibley. He has actually put big distance now between himself and his teammate. And then we go back to the Suzukis. There is Mullins in the white jersey, and the red jersey belongs to his teammate of Strang. So they're going to have to dig down deep, because when you give Paul Whibley an edge toward the second half of the race, he might be harder to catch than anyone. The guy is incredible with his physical fitness. And you see his teammate, he knows that Jarrett is really pushing hard to go after him. Then it's Mullins, frame deep, those ruts. This is Whibley's domain here. Later in the race, he is so fit. And you know that Jarrett knows that. You know Jarrett knows if he cannot stay within striking distance of his teammate and just use his teammate to pull him along, it's going to be awfully hard to just catch him on your own merits late in the race. Looks like Strang has moved into third. But I don't know if anyone's going to catch this guy. You give Whibley the advantage at this point in the race, and he just never gets tired. You could run 6-hour GNCC races. The only hope they have is this lap traffic will slow him up. It looks like that might be happening. Jarrett keeping his head down and charging and hoping that one of those lap riders will knock him down, like what happened to Russell in XC2. Strang solid in third. Now remember, he was running third in the previous race and ran out of gas. That's got to be running through his mind. Here's the JG Racing Kawasaki Geico crew. New goggles and gas. They are taking no chances down the stretch. Going to be interesting. Stay tuned. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, and by Yamaha. Well, I would say it's cruise control, but not quite. You can see how hard these guys are pushing. Jimmy Jarrett in second and his teammate who just went by, Paul Whibley. They need to keep fighting because the Suzuki of Josh Strang is coming. Caleb Russell leading XC2. And he has no competition back there today. His teammate Corey Buttrick has moved into the number 2 spot, but Russell maintains a solid lead there. Here is Whibley, headed for daylight, and his team taking no chances. They pulled him in for a second splash of gas. They know he has a big lead headed into the white flag, the last lap. And he just has to go through the motions here. And if it gets into a battle of endurance, well, no one is going to beat Paul Whibley, and I think that's what it turned into today. Jimmy Jarrett was ultra fast, but he had a pair of crashes and mistakes on the first lap. He had to burn a lot of energy to get into the lead, and down the stretch, you see the difference. Strang is still back there in third, though. Don't count him out. These guys all used to race together on Suzuki, but budget cuts prompted Whibley and Jarrett to move on. They picked up a new ride with this Geico JG Racing Kawasaki team, and how about it? In just the second outing ever for this squad, they are running 1 and 2. It's up to Strang to spoil the party. Make his way through lap traffic, finding some new lines. He is going to keep digging. He lost a lot of points in Florida when he ran out of fuel in the last lap. He needs every point he can get. So there's Jarrett in second, and yes, Strang is definitely closing the gap. Spent his winter out in Northern California training with the 5-time GNCC champion Rodney Smith. Strang said, hey, I'm just happy to be racing. It's easier to go racing than it is training with those guys. Meanwhile, it was an easy last lap for Whibley. No challenge for the man from New Zealand, and he takes his first win of the season and the first win ever for his team. Look at this. Strang has caught. He has caught Jarrett in the last lap. He goes to the inside, and they collide, and they both go down. Well, that's one way to make a pass. But look at this. Strang is not... No, he does go around. I can't understand this. Is there something wrong with this bike? He waves Jimmy Jarrett around. He waves Jimmy Jarrett around. He did not want to take the pass with a crash. I've never seen anything like this. Jarrett takes second, and Josh Strang gave him that position. Let's sort this out.
I got a good start today, which was happy with. I practiced them during the week and managed to get in up front early, which I wanted also. And then towards halfway point of the race, I didn't feel great, and then managed to push through to the end. And on the last lap, I was about 30 seconds back from Jimmy, and put my head down, charged, and caught him about a mile from the finish. And we picked up the pace pretty quick there for the last bit, and then coming into the finish, I didn't accidentally. I went over the track to tyres, and the corner was tighter than what I thought, and him and I hit pretty hard, and we both went down, and I felt pretty bad, so I just let him back by and gave him second. So it was a good day and good to get some points and happy to be on the podium.
Well, he did let him by. How about that? Mullins twists his ankle and finishes fourth. Let's go to Jarrett on the podium.
All right, man, I had a pretty good day. I didn't get a very good start. I went down the second turn, and I just put my head down and charged all day and caught those guys pretty early, and everybody was going fast today. We had about 5 or 6 guys just freight training, and halfway through I finally got to the front, and my teammate, me and Paul Wibley, we tried to put our head down and take off from these guys, and that guy's a machine. He just got away from me, and I couldn't run him down, and about a mile from the end, Josh caught me, and we were battling hard, and come down the last couple turns, and he jumped the tires, and I cut in early, and it wasn't his fault, it wasn't my fault, just something that happened, and we both went down. But he's a good kid. Me and him are one of my best friends out here, so he showed some heart and let me back by for second, so that was cool of him.
See how it affects the points. Strang trouble at round 1. He is 6th. And Wibley not only wins today, but he's the points leader.
At this race I got a great start. I got a unusual hole shot for me. I was pretty stoked about that. And then I was up front running with Charlie and Josh, and we're having a good race up the front. Jimmy Jarrett caught up to us, and we had like a 4 or 5 way battle at the front. After gas, I started to pick the pace up a little bit and managed to put a bit of time between myself and everybody else, and rode comfortable, and the bike was working great. The Kawasaki 450 was awesome. So yeah, happy with my first win this season.
Here's your XC2 results. Russell, Buttrick, and Watkins top 3, and Russell finishes 4th overall. Check out the Yamaha race recap. As Wibley said, a rare hole shot for him. He didn't know what to do with it. Quickly, the Suzukis of Strang and the number 3 and the 5 of Charlie Mullins pushed their way to the 1-2 spots, but there were a lot of riders chasing them. Fantastic action early in this one. The Kawasaki guys, Jarrett and Wibley, were right there pressuring the Suzukis at every turn. Caleb Russell was ready to continue his undefeated streak and go 2 for 2 in XC2. Wibley would establish himself as the strong man down the stretch. He and Russell would win the race. Strang and Jarrett battled all the way down to the finish line. It was an exciting one for sure here in Georgia, and it's only going to keep on going all year long. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.